Assalamu alaikum. Dear student, this is for class 11th. Today we will discuss the dimensional formula, how we can express how we can express the dimensional formula of various quantities, and we will see it is uses of dimensional formula, and we, we will try to know the different quantities which are associated with the dimensional formula. First, we should know what is dimensional formula. When we write any physical, the expression of मैं यहाँ लिखूँगा the expression of physical quantity in terms of base quantities is called dimensional formula. That means when we try to express any physical quantity in terms of base quantity, we know that there are various base quantities in SI system of units. Mainly, we are expressing the base quantity in terms of mass, length, and time. Suppose we can give some examples. We will try to find the dimensional formula of various physical quantities, and sometimes it is asked in the examination. You have to calculate the dimensional formula of universal gravitational constant or force or something another physical quantity. Suppose I take a simple physical quantity. Suppose I take area. Area is also a physical quantity. Usually we have to express it in terms of mass, length, and time. M, L, and T. M stands for mass, L stands for length, T stands for time. Area is equal to length into breadth. Length can L, breadth is also L, it is length. It is L square. That means it is dimensional formula becomes when we express this in terms of mass, length, and time, we say it is M0, we write in brackets M0, comma, L0, L2, comma, T0. It is becomes the dimensional formula of area. That means we are expressing the area in terms of a basic quantity. Suppose we can take another examples also. Suppose we can take another example. Another example is which you have studied in class 11. Suppose velocity. Velocity किसके बारे? As we know, velocity is equal to distance divided by time. Distance is length. Simply distance is length. Distance means how far body is away from one point to another body. That is distance. Distance is the length. Time is t. It can be written as L1 t ऊपर जाएगा t raised power -1. It is dimensional formula becomes formula of velocity becomes m0 L1 t raised power -1. This is equal to velocity. If we express in the same way acceleration, it is in our syllabus to find out the dimensional formulas various quantities. Acceleration. Acceleration, as you know, it is the rate of change of velocity. That is velocity divided by time. It is acceleration. Again, you can write velocity is equal to distance divided by time, because I have to express in base quantities, distance by time. Time is already there. Velocity is equal to distance divided by time, and one time is already here. It's already here. Time. Distance becomes L. T into T means T square. It can be written as L1 T raised power -2. Then when we write it is dimensional formula, therefore dimensional formula becomes, we have to write in brackets. Formula of acceleration becomes m0, comma, L1 t raised power minus 2. This is the dimensional formula of acceleration. Similarly, we can try to find out various quantities because they are in our syllabus. Suppose we can find out linear momentum. Linear momentum. You know that momentum is a quantity of motion positive. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. As mass into velocity. मुझे इस वक्त एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना है लीनियर मोमेंटम. मुझे पता है ना ये किसके बराबर. मोमेंटम इज इक्वल टू मास into velocity. I have to find out the dimensional formula. Momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Mass is m. Velocity is again distance divided by time. It can be written as m1 l1 t raised power minus 1. When we write in dimensional formula becomes then m1 l1 t raised power minus 1. Similar way you can find out the dimensional formula various quantities. Suppose I can take work. It is also universal with work. Force me, mass into acceleration, me. Mass me होगा कैपिटल M, acceleration velocity divided by time, v by t में लिखा. पर velocity is itself distance by time. Velocity is equal to distance by time because I have to write everything in basic quantities: mass, velocity, and time. Acceleration is equal to velocity by time. Velocity is distance by time. One time is there. We can write it m1 l1 t raised power minus 2. When I write the dimensional formula, therefore dimensional formula becomes dimensional formula. Kiski? Force of force is equal to m1 l1 t raised power minus 2. Similarly, जो अक्सर आता है एग्जामिनेशन में, यूनिवर्सल ग्रेविटेशन कांस्टेंट, यूनिवर्सल gravitational constant, that is G. You know that force is equal to G capital M small m divided by R square. M1 and M2 are the mass of the two bodies. R is the distance between them. मुझे इस वक्त यूनिवर्सल ग्रेविटी एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना है, मुझे इसकी डायमेंशनल फार्मूला निकालने हैं. Ultimately we get G is equal to FR square divided by M1 M2. अगर मैं फोर्स की पहले निकालूंगा, फोर्स को फिर यहाँ सब्स्टिट्यूट करूंगा. आर दैट मीन्स हियर एफ इज इक्वल टू फोर्स मास इनटू एक्सेलरेशन. मास एम ई है, एक्सेलरेशन किसके बराबर है? वेलोसिटी डिवाइड बाय टाइम. बट मास इनटू वेलोसिटी किसके बराबर है? डिस्टेंस डिवाइड बाय टाइम. ज़र भी टाइम ऑलरेडी इक्वल. इसका ये मतलब होगा, ये इसका हो गया m1 l1 t स्क्वायर t रेज़ पावर माइनस 2, ये ऊपर आ जाएगा. इसी तरह m1 m2 का हो गया m इंटू m हो गया m स्क्वायर. इस तरह r स्क्वायर हो गया l स्क्वायर. r इसको डिस्टेंस को l इंटू l को l square. When we substitute all these equations, I hope you have got it. In this above equation we get G is equal to force के बदले हम लिखेंगे m1 l1 t raised power minus 2. R square into l square divided by m1 m2 हो गया m square. Ultimately we get, it is dimensional formula. When we write it, ये ऊपर आ जाएगा -2 में से एक निकालोगे -1 m raised power -1 कामा l 3 2 तक 3 बेस आर से पावर and t raised power -2. This is the dimensional formula of universal gravitational constant. I hope you have got it. Now I will try to explain some other quantities. Now on the basis of the dimensional formula, we can divide any physical quantities into four types of physical quantities. physical quantities. On the basis of dimensional formula, I can divide a physical quantity into four types. Number one, these are called dimensional dimensional constant. Dimensional constant. There are some quantities which are having constant value, but they possess dimensions. Suppose there are some physical quantities which have constant value. Suppose acceleration due to gravity, 9.81 meter per second square, but it is having dimensions. Acceleration के dimensions है. Universal gravitation constant 6.67 the terrace power minus Newton meter square per kg square. इसका value constant है. जब it is having, but it, you know that it is having dimensions. What is the dimensions? m1 l cube t raised power. Such quantities in the physics which is having constant value, but they are having dimensions. These quantities are called dimensional constant. That means these are the constant which is having dimensions. I hope you are good. For example, acceleration due to gravity and universal gravitation constant. There are some quantities which are called dimensional variables. Number two, dimensional variables. These are quantities which is having dimensions, but their value does not remain same. Suppose area का लेंथ उनको एल स्क्वायर है इसकी, मगर किसी का एरिया कम भी निकल सकता है, किसी का एरिया ज़्यादा भी निकल सकता है. गो दीज आर सम क्वांटिटीज which are having dimensions, but their value does not remain same. These such quantities are called dimensional variables. Go area, volume, velocity, these are such quantities which are having dimensional formula, but they does not possess the same value. Such quantities are called dimensional variable. That means on the basis of dimensional equation we can divide any physical quantity into four types. One is dimensional constant. There are some quantities which are having constant value, but even then they possess dimensions. For example, acceleration due to gravity, universal gravitation constant means आपको अभी दिखाया कैसे निकालते हैं हम. Dimensional variables, these are some quantities which is having different values, but even then they possess dimensions. Suppose area का किसी का एरिया कम निकल सकता है, किसी का एरिया ज़्यादा, किसी की वेलोसिटी कम, किसी का वैल्यूम कम, किसी का वैल्यूम ज़्यादा, but even then they are having dimensions. These are called dimensional variables. Number third, इसी तरह हम लिखेंगे dimensional less quantities, less constants. These are constants which are having constant value, just like this, but they are having dimensions, but they does not have dimensions. Suppose for 3, 4, 5, these are constant values. Yeah, pi 22/7, it is having constant value, but it does not possess dimensions. This is called dimensionless constant. These are constant which have constant value but does not possess dimensions. Just like this, one more quantity, dimensionless variables. There are some quantities which does not possess the same value, but even then they does not have dimensions. For example, मैं आपको लिखूंगा स्ट्रेन किसके बराबर है. स्ट्रेन change in length divided by original length. इसका L, ultimately it will cancel, it is value becomes 0. That means it is having some strain इसका value different आ जाएगा, variable change हो जाएगा, but even then it does not have dimensions, because इसका change in length L आ जाएगा, original length L आ जाएगा, it will cancel each other, and ultimately we get the dimensions 0. Therefore, on the basis of dimensional formula, we can divide any physical quantity into four types. One is dimensional constant. These are constant which are having constant value, but they possess dimensions. For example, acceleration due to gravity, universal gravitation constant. Dimensional variable, these are physical quantities which does not have the same value, but even then they have dimensions. For example, area, volume, velocity. Now there are another quantity which are dimensionless constant. They have constant value but does not have dimension. For example, 3, 4, 5, pi. Dimensionless variable, these are having These are physical quantity which does not possess the same value but does not have dimension. These are called dimensionless variable. Hope you have got it. In next class, we will do the important discussion, that is the uses, important uses of dimensional formula. इसका इस्तेमाल यूज़ कहाँ करते हैं, इसकी एप्लीकेशन हम कहाँ कहाँ इस्तेमाल करते हैं, दैट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. थैंक यू वेरी मच.